Hi guys, in today's video is a request from a few subscribers of mine. They asked me if I could compare the Great Western 4 and 6 wheel coaches, or the 4 wheel coaches from Hattons and Hornby, and I said yeah, sure. I'm really not unsure about these. I don't really do this sort of thing. So here's my take on the comparison between the Hornby and Hattons Genesis and generic coaches in the Great Western livery. As we do a comparison on the ends of the coach, starting with the middle two. The middle two, there's a lot of differences. The Hattons ones has the wood effect going on, the stripes, and they are lined as well. As for the Hornby one, it's plain black and everything in there is moulded. We do have a small lampine on the Hattons one, which is separately applied. And the Hornby ones, like I said before, they are moulded. Both have metal buffers. And we also have a vacuum pipe on both, I believe, as well. Moving along to the ends do look very similar. Hornby's windows are more round and Hattons ones are more square. Again, there's a lot more detail on the Hattons one than there is the Hornby ones. When we get round to the other side, we do have steps, and the steps on the Hatton ones are metal, so are the handrails. On the Hornby ones, they're moulded, but we do have metal handrails dotted around, little small ones just there. But failing that, there's not much difference, and when they go around, are you going to see it? Probably not. As we get on to the roofs, the Hatton ones are oil and the roofs are white. And I believe the Hornby ones are gas. And they're more of a off-white, maybe a little bit grey, the roof colour. But they both have rain ducts and they both are very nice roofs, if I'm honest with you. And the Hornby ones does have some handrails on their roofs as well. As we move on to the full brakes, or the baggage cart, depending on your preference. The baggage cart on the Hornby one is a 4-wheeled, and the full brake or baggage cart on the Hattons one is 6-wheeled. Hattons don't do a 4-wheeled and Hornby don't do a 6-wheeled. Step boards on these, Hattons one is metal and the Hornby ones is plastic, and you can add them yourselves. The Hattons ones are glued in, sadly, from what I understand. They both look fantastic, the liveries are both fantastic. Hattons is a different shade of cream and chocolate to Hornby, and Hornby's one is more of a dark chocolate and an off cream. They both have the same style crest, and both have the same style doors as well by the looks of it, just with different handles and different panelling and different numbers. But failing that, they're very nice. As we move along to the third brakes, again, they're both highly detailed. Again, the top one is the Hattons one, and the bottom one is Hornby. Again, like before, the liveries are slightly different, but they both have the same crest on it, like the full brakes do. Again, like I said about the footboards, Hattons is metal and Hornby's is plastic, but you can have the Hornby one if you want to or don't. Wheels seem to be the same sort of wheels as well, but Hattons have coloured theirs wood bit correct colour. Hornby's is just plain black. Again, there's a lot more fine livery on the Hattons one compared to the Hornby one, which is not a bad thing. I do think they both will complement each other. Again, we both have a 3-door compartment for the passengers, and then 1 door on the Hattons and 2 doors on the Hornby one. Well, for now, there's not much difference, but they do look very, very nice. As we move on to the insides of the coaches, the Hornby coaches do have seating. They also have wood flooring as well. And in the brakes, they have a handle and wood flooring too. There's no racks for the luggage or anything like that. But it is still detailed. And are you going to see some of it when it goes around? Probably not. On to the Hattons one now. The Hattons ones do have highly detailed passenger areas. Colour seats like the Hornby ones. They also have the place to put your luggage above your head, which is great. It's very fine. It's there. We don't have any stuff in the brakes, as I said before in previous reviews. We don't have any handrail or wood flooring or anything like that, but both of them do have glazing bars in them. Again, there's stuff in here which you won't see when it's going around unless you're really low down. And finally, as we do an underneath look at the third brakes comparison, I can't really do a full brake one because they're both different chassis. We do have a lot of differences under here. Hornby does have some fine piping that's not broken, unlike the Hattons one. We also have the cylinders for the oil for the Hornby one, and for the Hattons one it's more of a drum, I think, for the gas. Failing that, there's a few details under the difference, but then again, they could be from different eras. We do have the same style couplings, same style wheels as well. Again, Hornby look like they've got a wood effect going underneath, and Hattons is plain black. There's some bracing on both, some moulded, some not. But the underframe detail, are you going to see it when it's going around? Probably not. So yeah, that's the end of the small running session I did with the old tooled Hornby Terrier in the Great Western livery. It seemed to be appropriate for the amount of coaches I have. For me, the Hattons and the Hornby have both got pros and cons, like most things when you compare them. Both got pros and cons. They're both roughly around the same price tag from the manufacturers themselves, so from Hattons and from Hornby. But if you get the Hornby ones from a different retailer, they might be a little bit cheap. I think they're around about the £35 mark with no lights, and the Hattons are the same from Hattons, about £31. They're about the same price, but Hattons you can only get from Hattons, and the Hornbys you can get from anywhere that stocks Hornby stuff, even eBay. So the more readily available is a good thing for the Hornby ones. Hornby ones, yes, okay, they don't have much separately applied stuff like the Hattons ones. That means less things can fall off, less things can break, which is a good thing. And if you want to improve the Hornby ones, you can. Same goes for the Hattons ones. The Hattons ones have lots of fine detail, and it's metal as well, which is good, gives it a bit of weight. But then this is prone to falling off, in my opinion. Again, they both have glazing as well, and the Hornby ones you can add lights to it, and the Hatton ones I don't think you can add lights to unless you budget. But from Hattons themselves, you can't add their lights. You have to buy them with lights, if that makes sense. And then if you want DCC with that, you need a decoder as well for each coach from Hattons. But the Hornby ones you can do on analog or DCC. It's a battery thing. It's quite a great, simple way, actually. Like I said, I tried my best to compare them the best I could. I understood it. If other people do that, that's great. Hopefully this will give people ideas if which ones to get in the future, depending on delivery and depending what Hattons do as well. I know they've got like the LNER, the Great Western, obviously the Great Northern. They've got a few other liveries as well, like the Midland and herself Hornby as well. So hopefully this has helped somebody to decide which ones to go for. If you're going for the Hattons ones, I'd rather get them now than later because they're selling out rather fast. Like I said, this was a request by a couple of subscribers who wanted me to compare the Hornby Great Westerns to the Hattons Great Westerns. And if I'm honest with you, like I said, they go well together. You can always make out they're from different works, carriage works, built them, so that's why they're different colours. Or you could say they're from different eras in time, slightly. Depending on the designer of the locomotives. That's the way I see it. Like I said, they both got pros and cons. Hope someone found this video useful. If not, I do apologise. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one, so please take care and goodbye.